Trump trial today, and the reason for that is the proof that this is a political persecution and not a criminal prosecution. That's up first here on the Dan O'Donnell Show today, this Wednesday. If you'd like to join us, the adventknows.com talk and text line is open. It always is 414-799-1130. Reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476. Email me dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show as well. And you can watch the show streaming live via our YouTube channel. Just search for Dan O'Donnell or Dan O'Donnell Show there. You can also watch us streaming live on Facebook and X. But we need your help getting the word out there. We want you to share the live stream on Facebook to make sure it's on more people's timelines. Retweet it if you still call it a tweet on X. Repost it, I believe, is the nomenclature that they prefer. But get this show out there on YouTube. Like, subscribe, smash that like button, as the kids say, and in exchange, we'll give you $1,000. Well, you're not guaranteed to get $1,000, but you've got a pretty darn good chance, because within just 3 days of playing the National Spring Green Cash Contest, a Dan O'Donnell Show listener on Monday won $1,000, and you can too. The word this hour, happy. HAPPY, happy. You have until 55 past the hour to go to our website and enter the keyword happy. You'll be happy if your entry is picked at random, because you will win $1,000 instantly. You will get a phone call, probably at about 10:15 if you win. Be sure to answer it, even if it's no caller ID. I just had a text on the adventknows.com talk and text line saying, hey, I won playing last night on a radio station I happen to be listening to out of Cleveland. First of all, sir, shame on you for not listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show podcast. I don't care if you heard me yesterday morning. I don't care if you heard me again filling in for Mark Belling yesterday afternoon. It is your duty to listen to nothing but Dan all day and all night. I'm kidding, of course. He said he got a call with no caller ID. It used to be a 517 area code. I'm not exactly sure which, but be sure to also have the setting on your iPhone turned off, where all phone numbers that aren't in your contacts go directly to voicemail. Turn that off, because it just might be us calling to tell you that you've won $1,000 instantly. It is Wednesday. That means we are going to play Guess What's Racist, America's favorite game show. What greeting, as in hello, hi there, is now considered horribly bigoted? We'll find out in Guess What's Racist, coming up in the 10 o'clock hour. Plus, the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel would very much like you to know that they want to legalize weed. The Wisconsin Supreme Court seems to signal that they're going to be taking up the abortion issue before the November election, which would be bad morally, but pretty darn fantastic politically for conservatives. I'll explain why. Much more on the show today. Lindsay Sterling tickets. She's coming to the Miller High Life Theater on August 22nd, and we have got a pair of freebies for you again today. But first, why is there no court for Donald Trump on Wednesday? Well, you see, in Manhattan's Circuit Court, where this case is being tried, you only have court 4 days a week. Typically, what day do you think every judge, every lawyer, every criminal and civil defendant, every court reporter, everybody, every bailiff, everybody involved in the court system wants to have off? What day do you think? That's correct. Friday. Everybody wants off Fridays, for goodness sake. It's not like when Mark Belling comes back to do his show full time. He's not taking off Wednesday. He's doing 4 days a week, and he's taking off Friday. When people talk about moving to a 4-day work week, they're not saying, hey, you know what we would really like if we worked Monday, got off Tuesday, and then worked Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. No, they're talking about having Friday off, making Thursday night something of a weekend night, putting Friday where it rightfully belongs as part of the weekend. New York's courts have off Fridays. It's just how it works. Every single case for every single defendant, every trial will be on Monday through Thursday, except one. Can you take a guess why? Why would you think Judge Juan Merchan, why do you think the prosecutor in this case, Alvin Bragg, why do you think everyone involved in the court system that's got a hand in trying this case is totally fine with having Wednesday off instead of Friday? Producer Dave is stumped. What do you think a better day is for campaign rallies? Wednesday or Friday? What night do you really want to get out to the big money fundraisers in, say, Texas? Friday or Wednesday? If you're going to a mega donor's house to try to raise, what did Trump raise? $50.5 million at that fundraiser in Florida in one night. Are your whales more likely to be out on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday or a Friday? Here's the thing, Dave. Trump has to be in court because this is a criminal trial. Dave asked, does he have to be there, or can he just send his lawyers like we did with the civil trial? No, if you are on trial for a criminal act, you absolutely do have to attend. Unless, of course, there is some reason, you're in the hospital. You can technically be tried in absentia, but it's very rare. If you're able to come to court, you have to come to court. The judge even made a point of saying, Trump, if you feel like playing hooky, I will cite you for contempt. And oh, by the way, there is going to be a contempt hearing a week from yesterday. This is going to be on April 23rd, Tuesday, because Trump apparently was talking about his case and posting on social media about his case in violation of Judge Merchan's gag orders. So the prosecutor, Alvin Bragg, is asking the judge to hold Trump in contempt and potentially put him in jail for 30 days. Now, if it wasn't obvious enough what's going on here, even people who you would think would be part of the narrative that no, this is a legitimate prosecution are starting to fall because this is just so obvious. Even people who you would assume to be good liberals and would carry water for the decrepit, demented president whose team behind him is so afraid of Donald Trump that they're trying to throw their political opponent in jail just a couple of months before the election in a move usually reserved for people who call themselves Comandante or El Presidente. They're starting to realize it. Stephen A. Smith on his ESPN podcast. This was not on his show First Take. This was on his podcast where he talks not just about sports, but also about cultural issues, also about politics. Went on about a 1-minute rant on the Trump prosecution that honestly left me floored because Stephen A. Smith is a smart guy and he's not as liberal as you might think. Do you know who one of his best friends is? Sean Hannity. You talk about an odd couple. Stephen A. Smith and Sean Hannity are apparently best buddies out in New York. But Stephen A. Smith is also, by all accounts, a good Democrat. ESPN could not possibly want what Stephen A. Smith said on his podcast out there to an audience that doesn't normally consume political news, because what Democrats and their allies in the media are counting on is the media only reporting that this is a legitimate prosecution, never reporting what I've been saying, what I've been screaming from the high hilltops for the past, years since this case was first brought, that this is an illegitimate prosecution. This is an attempt to prosecute from a state prosecutor a federal crime, which completely obliterates the concept of federalism. And the statute of limitations has long since run on behavior that can in no way be classified as felonious. If Trump committed any crime, it's a misdemeanor, but because the statute of limitations for a misdemeanor falsification of business records charge is 2 years, Bragg is about 5 years late in trying this case anyway. But Stephen A. Smith gets it. And the fact that he presented this to a non-politics, non-conservative audience is very significant.
To my liberal friends out there, all you're doing is showing that you're scared you can't beat them on the issues and the merits. That's why he keeps saying it's a political campaign against me. That's why he keeps saying they can't beat me at the election, at the polls. This is the only way they could do it. And if you don't put him in jail, and he still goes from being the presumptive GOP nominee to the official GOP nominee, and he goes to the polls, even though he was going to whine about winning and being rigged again, you have given more fodder to that argument, which means we'll never have peace in this country, because tens of millions of people see what extent the other side is willing to go through just to keep him out of office, because they can't beat him on their own merits.
That's powerful. Now, coming from someone like me or Clay and Buck, coming from Sean Hannity, that's one thing. Coming from Stephen A. Smith, that's quite another. Recognizing this for what it is, recognizing that, generally speaking, what do we always say about criminality, habitual criminality? Say carjacking, aggressive, aggravated assaults, that sort of thing. You typically grow out of it by about age 40. Let me tell you, friend, I went running. I did about 3 miles yesterday, and this morning I woke up and it felt like my legs were run over by a passenger train. I'm 42. I'm taking a wild guess. I am in no shape to be running away from the cops after committing a crime. I'm not getting out of that bank before security is on my butt, all right? You grow out of habitual criminality. Except for Donald Trump. Donald Trump apparently just woke up one morning and decided to start committing crimes at 75 years old as President of the United States. He goes his whole life without anything even remotely close to this. And then he takes on the organized political social left. He is the number one enemy, possibly ever. I think these people hate him with a passion that burns more hotly than Bush, than Reagan, than even Nixon combined. I think you have to go all the way back to Abraham Lincoln to find a Republican as hated as Donald Trump. And Lincoln was a bit more justified. He took away Democrats' slaves. And let me tell you, Democrats really, really, really loved their slaves. Again, if you take nothing away from the Dan O'Donnell show, take away this. Democrats loved slavery. Democrats left the United States of America so they could keep on owning slaves. Republicans were explicitly formed in Wisconsin, I might add, to stop slavery. Therein lies the difference. But Trump is so hated, he is so despised, that all of a sudden, without a whiff of impropriety with women, Trump has always had something of a spotty business record. Let's just be honest with that. Not exactly sure how you can go bankrupt owning a casino, but somehow Trump Taj Mahal did. Trump Steaks, the Trump board game, not exactly the biggest successes. Trump University didn't exactly go as planned. But it was only when he made an issue out of Hillary Clinton's husband's many years of not just dalliances, but also accusations of sexual assault, that women came out of the woodwork. That all of a sudden, E. Jean Carroll suddenly remembered, oh yeah, that guy raped me. I loved watching him on The Apprentice for many years and even posted on Facebook about it. But yeah, he raped me. Now, I don't remember what year. Yes, the Bergdorf's department store was deserted, which was weird. Yes, he did this in a dressing room, even though Bergdorf's will only unlock the dressing rooms when an employee comes to help you try something on, and that didn't happen here, which was also weird, even though she only remembered to tell her friends about this when one of the friends was writing a story about Donald Trump, and she has no earthly idea what time of year this was. She remembers being raped. And so too did dozens of other women who suddenly came forward with stories about this. Then Trump does the unthinkable. He wins. And immediately, I mean, the day Trump was inaugurated, there was a story in, I believe it was the Washington Post, it might have been the Times, said the effort to impeach Trump begins now. He hadn't even gone to the inaugural ball yet, and they were already talking about impeaching him. They finally did in 2019, but not over the scandal that was broiling for years, even before he assumed the office. The Russia collusion scandal, which was proven by the Mueller report to be completely and totally made up. It was false. The real collusion and the real scandal was the weaponization of the FBI by the Obama administration working in conjunction with the Hillary Clinton campaign in order to dig up dirt on Trump and try to pass him off as a Russian asset, something that was legitimized by the FBI getting surveillance against members of his campaign in order for there to be an investigation to leak from. That investigation continued into his presidency when a special counsel was named. Weirdly enough, that investigation leaked like a sieve, and the media was able to have a nonstop drumbeat of Trump's a criminal, Trump's a traitor, Trump committed treason. None of it was true. So they couldn't get him on that, and then they pretended when Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, dug up some pretty darn concrete evidence that Joe Biden was engaged in a high-powered, high-money influence peddling scheme in Ukraine with his son as the point man getting put on the board of an energy giant, even though he did not speak Ukrainian. He had no relevant experience. He was still getting millions of dollars from this company for the express purpose of influencing his father, then the vice president, to do whatever it was that Burisma wanted him to do. Well, Trump figured this out. The brand new president, Vladimir Zelensky, gets a call from Trump and saying, hey, we'd kind of like to know if the former vice president is as corrupt as it sure looks like. And everybody's, there was nothing tying him to this. At the time, remember, the FBI was in possession of Hunter Biden's laptop. The FBI had the evidence that, in fact, there was an influence peddling scheme. Who got impeached? Who got in trouble? Trump, for daring to try to do something about it and daring to try to stop in its tracks the Biden candidacy, who the left had already determined was the best shot of beating Trump. You see how this works. Then we get to January 6th, which forms the basis of pretty much everything the left has done and said since. And we'll discuss how that fits in this overall pattern next here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. It's classical conservatism, contemporary style, a tour de force of truth. And we'll be right back to it in just a second. Dan O'Donnell here for Mander Collision and Glass, the best decision after a collision. And you hear me talking all the time about how great Mander is, but here's customer Amber, who writes, the quality of customer service at Mander in Muskego has far exceeded my expectations. After being involved in an accident, not my fault, and having experienced some significant difficulties communicating with the individual that hit me, Mander went above and beyond to ensure my needs were being met. I have never never felt so confident and secure as a customer. The staff truly has their customers' best interests at heart and shows it through their actions. Thank you, Mander, for alleviating my stress through an undesirable chain of events. Thanks so much for sharing your experience, Amber, because that's yet another reason why I recommend Mander so highly. Now with 6 locations to serve you, Mander truly is your best decision after a collision.
Jay Weber here. If you're someone who's experiencing shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain and a total joint replacement might be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Find them at orthowisconsin.com. At Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, their physicians are committed to providing the highest quality of joint care and specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center in Pewaukee. You can find them at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Dan O'Donnell here for CertaPro Painters. If you're like me, you're still spending a lot of time at home. My home is my happy place, and that's why I trusted the pros at CertaPro to paint it the way I wanted. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in the state. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, pro.com. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
All right, who's there for heroes or their families left behind when a service member or a first responder dies or is catastrophically injured in the line of duty? Who helps our country's homeless vets? I'll tell you who. It's the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Never forget the sacrifices of our country's greatest heroes. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month. Just go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org, the letter T, number 2, letter T.org for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show, a tour de force of truth. We are, of course, the only talk radio show officially endorsed by former President Donald Trump.
Your show is a very important show, and it's a great show, and we appreciate it.
Isn't it remarkable how Donald Trump just sort of decided sometime in his mid-70s he was going to commit a whole bunch of crimes? It is kind of amazing. I don't think I've ever seen that. Kids wake up at age 15, after they steal candy as a 10-year-old, or who am I kidding? In the city of Milwaukee, they're 10 and they're stealing Hyundais. He just decided, hey, I'm president. Crime time. January 6th formed the basis of every Democrat narrative. What's remarkable to me is that the media went along with this. We had a full summer full of riots. Full summer full. All lefties. And, have you noticed they're already starting to audition for the 2024 Summer of Love? There was a young black man who was shot 96 times by police officers during a traffic stop. Now, what they failed to mention is he actually shot an officer in the arm first, and they returned fire. But never mind, he was a good boy. He was about to go to college, and they're trying to, this one didn't really take off, so we're on to the next one. We've just got to keep auditioning until we find the one that'll burn cities to the ground, just like George Floyd. Hopefully it'll be caught on camera. This is really how cynical our media is, and this is really how, frankly, evil they are. When Trump talks about them as the enemy of the people, this is the sort of thing he's talking about. They literally intentionally fan the flames of riots. They know what they're doing. Look at some of the headlines. I forget the guy's name who was shot and killed, but it'll be like, police officers shoot black man 96 times during a traffic stop. Dexter Reed. Thank you so much, Dave. Dexter Reed. Yeah, just Google Dexter Reed and read the headlines. Do any mention that he shot a cop? Probably not. If you get a chance, and I don't want to make fun of someone's grief, but the mother had a press conference, where she says he's a good boy. He was turning his life around. He was about to go to college when he shot the police officer. She starts shaking as though she's been possessed by the Holy Spirit and falls to the ground. And she never stops speaking while she's doing this. And it was just so overacted that even Nicolas Cage would blush. But back to January 6th. So after the summer of love, Republicans act like Democrats for exactly one afternoon. Now, never mind that in Minneapolis, leftists burned the police building to the ground. They vandalized in Madison, for example. They threw Molotov cocktails at the public safety building. Remember the young lady, Althea Bernstein, who said that some white boys threw a Molotov cocktail into her car the same night of the riots, and she was driving away the place where we know Molotov cocktails were being thrown? You'll notice how that story disappeared. But for one afternoon, conservatives and, let's face it, a bunch of thugs attacked police officers at the Capitol. And no, folks, not everybody was just walking around staring at the paintings and there for a protest. There were a good number of them that were very violent, that were there to hold a riot. And they should be held accountable for that. But that gave Democrats an opportunity. They impeached Trump again after he left office for the incitement of an insurrection, even though none of the insurrectionists had a gun, which would make it sort of difficult to defeat the best armed military in the entire world with fire extinguishers and flagpoles. But nonetheless, they impeached him after he left office. Why? So that if he was convicted, he would never be able to hold office again. They knew immediately after that election was done, Trump was going to run again, and he was almost certainly going to be the Republican nominee. When he announced officially in November of 2022 that he was the nominee, don't you think it's a little weird that that's exactly when the Georgia prosecution began? In earnest, the special counsel was hired the previous year. Everything ramped up. In fact, the two federal cases brought by Jack Smith, the special prosecutor, was named prosecutor 5 days after Trump officially announced he was running for president. What do you think the likelihood is that he would have been federally charged over January 6th and then the Mar-a-Lago documents if he wasn't running for president? Probably slim to none, right? The timing there is just too perfect. All the while, you've got Alvin Bragg in New York planning on just completely subverting the Constitution and the rule of law in order to bring a prosecution that a state prosecutor is not legally or constitutionally allowed to bring. In Georgia, it was even worse. The prosecutor, Fani Willis, was rather obviously prosecuting Trump largely to pad her own ample pockets by hiring her boyfriend, who had never charged a racketeer, influenced, and corrupt organizations case before in his life. This was going to be the first one. First time for everything. It just happens to be against the President of the United States. Think about it like this. Your kid just gets his driver's license. Would you let him drive to the quick trip down the street first or cross country to San Francisco? Mom, I want to drive down Route 66. You're probably going to say, whoa, slow down, Tiger. Not Fani Willis, because she needed that money. So she criminalized something that is absolutely protected speech. And the fact that this is Georgia is hilariously ironic, where you've got a Democrat who ran for governor twice, and after the first time she lost, claimed that she actually won because of all the, wait for it, voter irregularities. Just like Trump, if you asked Stacey Abrams today, right now, we had her on the show, and we asked her, Stacey, do you think you rightfully won the 2018 election? She would say yes. Never mind the fact that Hillary Clinton and Democrats concocted an entire collusion narrative out of thin air to pretend that Donald Trump didn't really win the 2016 presidential election. That sort of thing was criminalized in Georgia. And to make matters worse, Jack Smith essentially criminalized it in federal law too. Protected political speech, challenging the results of an election. You have an absolute right to do that under both federal and state law. Trump going to the Secretary of State of Georgia and saying, hey, we think there are 20,000 fraudulent votes that gave Biden the win. If you find those votes, you'll be a hero. He's trying to convince Raffensperger to launch an investigation into the vote. Perfectly lawful behavior. Nope, criminalized. Then how about the Mar-a-Lago prosecution? It's governed presidential records being held at Mar-a-Lago or in a garage next to a Corvette in Delaware. It's perfectly lawful. Presidents have the right under what's known as the Presidential Records Act to keep records. Guess what? Presidential Records Act isn't a criminal statute. So what happens is the National Archives and the former president's office will go back and forth. Hey, we need these documents back a little longer. We're working on the memoir. Hey, a little longer. For the first time in American history, the National Archive called the FBI in order to raid Trump's house to find those documents. Now, the FBI has a long-standing policy not to do anything that could be construed as political 60 days before an election. Guess when they raided Mar-a-Lago? Exactly 60 days before the 2022 midterm election. You almost can't make this stuff up. They waited until the last possible moment so it would have the most impact on the upcoming midterm elections. They raid Mar-a-Lago very publicly, and again, activity that is not criminal. And how do we know it's not criminal? Because a couple of months later, Joe Biden was found to have done the exact same thing. Even worse, because the records he took were not when he was president, but rather when he had no authorization to declassify classified material that Trump did. Guess what happened? Biden, miraculously, was cleared. No criminal wrongdoing, just like Hillary Clinton. She had classified material on a homebrew laptop. No, she had no intent to conceal it. Biden is apparently too demented to conceal any of his records or to know that he was concealing records. Yeah, so everything's all good. Trump's prosecution, though, still stands. Every single one of these, all timed to 2024, and all designed to keep Trump in court and to keep Trump the criminal, the narrative, so that you don't think, hey, maybe the guy we've got in office now is in such severe cognitive decline that he can't possibly function as a store clerk, yet alone president of the United States, and inflation is still through the roof, and there's a population of illegal immigrants that he let into this country greater than the population of 36 states. Maybe we should think about replacing him. No. The focus needs to be on Donald Trump. Well, yeah, Biden's old and Biden's demented and Biden's terrible, but do you really want a criminal as your president? That, at its heart, is what this is about. Turning this election from a referendum on Joe Biden's many, many failures into a referendum on Donald Trump. And lest you get a little too nostalgic about the Trump years, they will remind you every day from now until Election Day, by keeping Trump in court instead of on the campaign trail, that he's a criminal, and you don't really want that as your president, do you?
It is my testimony that the...
Whoops. That's not a soundbite, or that's not a song. That was a big finish, Dave. And oh man, we are way late for a break. So we are going to take that break, probably a short segment coming up here. We will at some point name the unhinged liberal of the day as well, right here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Don't let the stress of buying a new car outweigh the excitement. With Car Gurus, you can buy or sell a car exactly how you want. That's why millions of people use Car Gurus. Do all the upfront work online and search their massive selection by budget, make, model, and features. Compare prices to know you got the best deal, then head in for a test drive. Take charge of your buying or selling experience today and get it with Car Gurus at CARGURUS.com. That's CarGurus.com.
In a world of increasingly crummy service, knowledge really is power. Knowing talented, honest people is key. And I've known the owners of Bob's Glass in Waukesha all my life. Joel and Sue Giese are no-nonsense, straight shooters who've been doing quality glass work for 35 years now after taking over a family-owned business with a 65-year legacy. Bob's Glass does anything glass, and they are the people to call for great glass shower doors. As one customer review puts it, I'm so impressed with the construction and fit of this shower door. See bobs-glass.com for more.
Sleep apnea is a serious condition. And the worst part about it is, because it affects you while you're sleeping, you don't know what this condition is doing to you.
And it was scary because I found out that I was waking up 145 times an hour. 145 times. I was scared. I wasn't getting the sleep I needed.
And that's the thing. Someone like John wakes up after thinking he's slept all night, and he's been feeling run down for years, and finally finds out something really is wrong. This is why, for us, solving sleep apnea problems is so gratifying, because we really are changing lives.
I've had more energy. I'm getting better sleep. I've been told from my wife I don't snore, but honestly, it changed my life.
This is Dr. Madan Kandula. Solving your breathing triangle problems means a better quality of life, and you deserve that.
Go to AdventKnows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
I'll say it again. Our mission is to protect and uphold our reputation. And what that means is wherever we go, we make it better for those in need of our services and the great people we have working with us. Our reputation matters. It matters to us, and it should matter to you. We believe that operating with integrity will set us apart from our competitors, and that this attracts people to us that share these same values. I say this because I want you to know when you work with Semper Fi, character counts. It's why you can count on the industry's hands-down best lifetime workmanship warranty that now includes free annual inspections. And it's why we always have one project manager per job, which is absolutely not the industry standard. When you're paying for a brand new roof to go on what's likely the biggest investment you have, you want it done right, and you want to be able to count on the people doing it. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
Keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
It was a doozy, all right. Apparently, things got a little out of hand, as evidenced by the job description.
Repair heel marks on conference table.
You get the picture. Office party, a few too many drinks, and a gal who felt compelled to use the top of the conference table as a dance floor. And as you expected, we showed up on site and made that tabletop as good as new. By golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY Finishing.com. Well, if you haven't heard me bragging by now, we're darn good. Actually, my dad has no qualms about saying we're the best. And if you're skeptical, I understand. But all you have to do is go to MullallyFinishing.com to learn why we're great at what we do and see lots of before and after photos that show off our impressive work. So if you're looking for a name you can trust, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY Finishing.com.
You can host the best backyard barbecue. You find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
We're throwing a party, and you get the presents. Hi, this is Terry Ludwig, owner of All American Window and Door. Our 39th anniversary is an event you don't want to miss. It's a celebration of passion, commitment, and you. Our 39th anniversary also means prizes, surprises, and savings that take the cake. Join us for great deals. Party this week at All American Window and Door on Mequon Road in Germantown. 262-255-7170. Estimates are free.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
The dentists at Elmbrook Family Dental meld talent and technology to give you a superior patient experience. Elmbrook Family Dental is an in-network preferred provider for most dental insurance groups, has early morning and nighttime hours, and now has 2 locations, next to Brookfield Square Mall and across from the corners of Brookfield. Check out elmbrookfamilydental.com.
Discounts so deep they dazzle. Where?
BidOnMilwaukee.com.
Home improvement packages, vacations, Morningstar Golf, and more.
BidOnMilwaukee.com.
Take 60% off retail, but hurry. The Bid on Milwaukee blowout sale ends at 7 tonight.
Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. You want me to prove my point that all of it is aimed at politics. It's aimed at keeping Trump off of, well, first of all, the Trump timing, the timing of the Manhattan trial. This is the only trial that has off Wednesdays and not Fridays. The only one. And the reason for that is obvious. It's to hamper Trump's travel schedule so that he can't get to rallies on Friday night. He can't get to fundraisers on Friday night. That, in fact, do you know where I actually got complaining about this from? Trump's campaign people himself, his traveling press secretary, who I was coordinating potential future visits on the Dan O'Donnell Show from the former president and Republican nominee. She said, yeah, we couldn't believe that. I mean, we could when the judge said that, but we're going to have Monday, Tuesday, a break Wednesday, and then he's got to be in court Thursday and Friday. Okay. Just a couple of minutes ago, there was video that started circulating. I think this was from yesterday because this is one of the 50 jurors who was rejected. She wasn't rejected for bias, ladies and gentlemen. She was rejected only because she had a scheduling conflict. She actually told the judge and told the attorneys during the jury selection process, known as voir dire, that she could be unbiased, that she could put aside her feelings about Donald Trump and try this case fairly. I want you to listen to her talking to a reporter and tell me if that is in any way true.
Can you share your opinion of the former president and why you felt that you could be unbiased?
I'm not a fan. During COVID-19, I lived with someone who was immunocompromised, and I think his handling of COVID-19 was abysmal. I have a sister who is adopted from China, and the comments he made about China when he was running for president made her very anxious and therefore made me angry. There are policies he has supported that regard women and reproductive health that I do not agree with. And I think all of that needs to be addressed.
And how exactly would you address it as a juror. I know that was difficult to hear. It was just on the streets of New York. These weren't just policy disagreements. This wasn't her saying, well, I believe his protectionist stance on trade runs counter to a free market world. No, this wasn't an intellectual disagreement. She was citing off things that impacted her at a deep emotional, personal level. Given the fact that she looks to be a 20-year-old lib, of course she is going to respond to Trump at a personal level. First thing she said, my roommate is immunocompromised, and I feel like he failed on COVID. So she's feeling personally that Trump is responsible for endangering her immunocompromised friend, right? Second, she had someone, and I couldn't tell, someone with an associate degree from China. I couldn't tell what she said because of the background noise, but she also knew someone who was from China, and she felt that Trump's comments about China on the campaign trail were personally offensive to her and therefore made her angry. She didn't say, oh, well, that's unfortunate that he's saying that. I can put that. No, I was driven to anger by what he said. And then, of course, the obvious one. I didn't like some of his policies on women and reproductive health. This is, libs, can you please read a newspaper every so often? Can you please, if you are listening to me right now, maybe you're on your break from Starbucks, running your hands through your pink hair, maybe tearing it out in frustration that you're being forced to listen to someone with whom you might disagree. And I know it's a hate crime, but just listen up for a second. When you say that your biggest issue is, I don't know, women's rights, and he's like really bad on my rights, you sound like an idiot. Like everyone who actually knows anything about anything is judging you. But you knew that one was going to come out, and that's the one that impacts the low information voter the deepest, because that's the one they get. It is personal to them. They feel it. This woman looks like she was on her way out of the courtroom to have an abortion right there. All right? That's how liberal this woman is, or at least she appeared. But that's sort of beside the point, what she might or might not know about the body politic. It's that she had a deep-seated hatred of Donald Trump, yet she wasn't struck immediately. Oh, okay, this person's an obvious lib. We're going to have to get her off the jury pool. She only had a scheduling conflict, or she would have been on the jury. Meanwhile, the left is freaking out about our friend Clay Travis for saying, if you're a Trump supporter in New York, get yourself on the jury and hang that jury. Sunny Hostin gave and I completely forgot to put this in because she is still the unhinged liberal of the day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany. Make me crazy.
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is over.
Sunny is indeed your unhinged liberal of the day. On The View yesterday, she was deeply, deeply disturbed that Clay Travis would dare call for Trump supporters to get on the jury and try to hang said jury so that there couldn't be a verdict against Trump. She was very worried that there wouldn't be anyone who supports Trump, or that there would be someone who supports Trump on the jury. In other words, she wanted only Biden's supporters. The worst thing that could happen was that a Trump supporter would, and I quote, ruin this for giving up yet again what the game really is. Sunny Hostin is your unhinged liberal of the day. They really do care about nothing other than getting that conviction, getting it quickly. Now, no matter that the United States Supreme Court, I think, is going to have to step in here. There is a clear constitutional issue, and that's whether a state prosecutor, a local prosecutor, can prosecute a federal crime, which is what's going on here. That is a very clear overreach of local prosecutorial authority. So there will be a an appeal, probably directly to the Supreme Court. My guess is that the Supreme Court takes it up and takes it up very quickly because of the pressing nature of the issues at stake here. Can you really do this specifically to interfere in a presidential race? Dan O'Donnell Show coming right back.
Teeth are amazing. That's why at Affordable Dentures and Implants, we believe it's time the world sees your smile. With new financing options, you don't need to wait to get your smile back. Our practices in Milwaukee, Kenosha, and Menominee Falls are open to serve you. Schedule a free new smile consultation. Call 1-800-DENTURE or visit AffordableDentures.com to find a location near you. That's 1-800-DENTURE or visit AffordableDentures.com. Affordable Dentures and Implants.
Go ahead and smile. Attend Biz Expo May 22nd at Brookfield Conference Center. Learn how to build a legendary brand by creating raving fans from keynote speaker and author Scott Wozniak. Attend strategy seminars on company culture, business growth, AI and cybersecurity, leadership, exit planning, tax savings for business, and more. Network and connect with your peers and the region's leading product and service providers. Biz Expo is Wednesday, May 22nd. Register to attend at biztimes.com/bizexpo.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank, and as a community bank, we sincerely appreciate our customer loyalty. Over nearly 90 years, we've done all we can to return the favor. Great Midwest Bank offers flexible solutions that bigger banks and credit unions simply can't, because our entire team is right here in the community. We love helping our neighbors when we're at work and then catching up over the weekend. Visit us at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Homeowners, are you tired of paying for a lawn care service when the results are leaving your lawn lifeless and full of weeds? Is your lawn sick of being ghosted by your service provider when they don't show up? Maybe it's time for a switch. At Weedman Lawn Care, excellent results, proactive communication, and superior customer care is what we're all about. Don't take my word for it. Check out our Google reviews. See the Weedman difference on your lawn. Go to weedman.com and get 50% off your first application with your program. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Hino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage, so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cab overs than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit lynchtruckcenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
Traffic jams, tailgating, pileups. Ugh, the joys of driving. How could it get worse? The federal government wants to have a say in what you drive. That's right. The Biden administration's EPA is pushing mandates that would ban 2 out of every 3 vehicles on the road today. Don't let Washington become your backseat driver. Protect the freedom of driving your way. Visit EnergyCitizens.org. Paid for by the American Petroleum Institute.
Get ultimate protection and durability for your painting project at Menards. Get a paint that combines durability and gorgeous color. Dutch Boy's DuraClean Interior Paint and Primer in 1 offers Stay Clean technology, making your home stay beautiful and clean longer. And with Dutch Boy's easy opening, smooth pouring container, transforming your home has never been easier. Save big money on Dutch Boy paints and head into Menards to get your paint project started today.
Save big money at Menards.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Divergent Family Law will work with both parties of a divorce to an agreed-upon final assignment of assets and custody. Prefer or have no choice but fight for every and any advantage through divorce? Divergent's attorneys do that too. Divergent Family Law, separate and equal, or better. DivergentFamilyLaw.com.
Acumen Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
Don't settle for a flimsy bank pre-approval. Get the pre-approval listing agents and sellers recognized as better than the rest. The rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from Accunet. Get yours by clicking on the blue button at accunet.com.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good morning, I'm Ted Allen. Authorities continue to look for clues in the murder of 19-year-old Sade Robinson. The Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office conducted a follow-up search yesterday at the home of 33-year-old Maxwell Anderson. He's accused in the death and dismemberment of Robinson after their first date, April 1st. Monday evening, supporters of Robinson gathered outside of Anderson's home, decorating it with items and messages all in pink. That was Sade's favorite color. Those decorations were removed yesterday. A smaller memorial has been placed on the sidewalk near Anderson's home. The Wisconsin Supreme Court may take up an abortion rights case. The court yesterday ordered parties named in a petition from Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin to file responses within the next 10 days. That's an indication that the court may consider the abortion provider's petition to recognize a constitutional right to bodily autonomy, which would include abortion. Planned Parenthood is also asking the court to recognize a constitutional right for doctors to provide abortions. The organization filed the petition directly with the Supreme Court back in February. Another U.S. House Speaker is fighting for their job. Speaker Mike Johnson said yesterday he's not resigning, and he dismissed threats to his gavel as absurd. It comes after a second Republican member of Congress, Kentucky Representative Thomas Massey, threatened to oust Johnson for his handling of legislation to send foreign aid to Ukraine and Israel. Checking the WISN Sports Scoreboard, ESPN reports that Giannis is expected to miss the Bucks' first-round NBA playoff series against Indiana due to a calf strain. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Allen on Wisconsin's most listened-to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Hot summer night, lightning strike. Down goes the tree, right through their bedroom wall, nearly ruining a walnut headboard, which is pretty hard wood. Fortunately, the customers were okay. But the headboard? That wasn't. Until they called us. We made that Victorian headboard better than new. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing, repair, and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. Well, if you haven't heard me bragging by now, we're darn good. Actually, my dad has no qualms about saying we're the best. And if you're skeptical, I understand. But all you have to do is go to MullallyFinishing.com to learn why we're great at what we do and see lots of before and after photos that show off our impressive work. So if you're looking for a name you can trust, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY Finishing.com.
Here's the latest forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
A few more thunderstorms in the early part of the day today, but settling down to a few showers through the midday into the afternoon. 66 the high, strong southwest-west wind at around 10 to 25 miles per hour. Should dry up tonight, back to showers tomorrow. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Grand Appliance. Shop Grand Appliance for unbeatable deals like Whirlpool top-load washers starting at just $4.99. Need it fast? Grand can deliver and install faster than those other guys. Learn more at grandappliance.com. That's Grand Appliance, the appliance expert since 1930.
If you want a fiduciary guiding your financial plan that will treat your assets as if they were their own, go to financialstrategiesinc.com.
Financial strategies, what's the way to build your wealth?
Splash into spring with Bachman Pools and Spas Double Your Savings sales event.
If you've ever wanted an endless swimming pool, now is the time to get up to $5,000 instant rebate.
Now through April 22nd, Hot Spring Spas is offering an instant $1,500 rebate, plus get 0% financing for 60 months.
Hurry in. We still have a few 2023 models with additional deep discounts.
Early bird customers could actually triple their savings.
Boom! With 30 plus models on display, our wellness consultants are ready to help you find the perfect hot spring spa, endless pool, Finleo sauna, or a cold plunge for your home.
This is an opportunity to own the world's best-selling, best-backed hot tubs from Bachman's at prices we haven't offered for years.
Visit Bachmans.com and their award-winning showrooms in Madison and Brookfield.
Go ahead, relax. It's Bachman's.
It is Milwaukee's oldest home, and I'm proud to say that the owner chose us to replace its windows. It's a beautiful home in Shorewood. It's not big or flashy, but it is just gorgeous. And I'm so proud of the windows that we helped the owner choose for this home. As they sat in our warehouse before the install, I kept walking by and looking at them, saying to myself, we really chose the perfect windows. And I couldn't wait to see the results, which even exceeded my expectations. The windows we chose were from the Marvin Signature Collection, which offers their broadest range of product types, sizes, configurations, and design options. When we choose them for your home, you'll experience the difference in every thoughtful detail with the highest level of architectural precision and beautiful aesthetics. Marvin windows are built around you. This is David Wilhelm. If you want to see Marvin's entire product line, come to Lisbon Storm Screen and Door. After all, we are your clear choice for more.
Your clear choice for more. Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Are you over 30 and putting off life insurance? It's time to get a quick quote from Ethos. A better, easier way to get term life insurance. All online with no medical exam. Answer a few health questions and you could be approved for up to $2 million. Isn't it worth 10 minutes to help protect your family's financial security? Ethos. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Hands-on attention to guide you through your home building process to make sure we not only meet but exceed your expectations. That's what you can expect from Bellman Homes, along with stick-built quality that will last for generations.
Bellman Homes.
Be sure to listen to the NX Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. NX provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference.
It's the Spring Green Cash Contest. Your chance at $1,000. Listen for the nationwide keyword weekdays 9 to 5 on News Talk 1130 WISN.
Talk radio show officially endorsed by former President Donald Trump.
Your show is a very important show, and it's a great show, and we appreciate it.
It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. If you'd like to join it, the AdventNows.com talk and text line, 414-799-1130, 1-800-838-9476. Email me, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, where you can watch the show streaming live. Also via Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. Clearly, this live stream is not showing up in people's Facebook algorithms. I wonder why. It's not showing up on your news feed. It's not showing up when you log into Facebook. So we need your help every day. If you're watching the show on Facebook, if you come across it, just hit share. It takes a millisecond and it helps us grow our audience. Same thing with YouTube. Smash that like button. Search for Dan O'Donnell. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the show. Get alerts for whenever we go live, which is every Monday through Friday at exactly 9:05 a.m. We also are giving away a lot of stuff this week. Not just Lindsey Sterling tickets. We've got another pair to give away for her show August 22nd at the Miller High Life Theater. And we'll do that later on this hour. In fact, we may give it away as a prize for America's favorite game show, Guess What's Racist, which will come up in about 15 minutes or so. But each and every hour, we're playing the Spring Green Cash Contest for a chance to win $1,000 instantly. The word this hour, money, M-O-N-E-Y, money. You've got until 55 past the hour to go to our website and enter the key word money. Your entry is picked at random. You win a whole lot of money. Well, not as much money as 3 years ago, but still, you'll be able to pay for, I don't know, a trip and a half to the grocery store with $1,000. I'm still chuckling at the guy a couple of weeks ago who called in to say that he had a credit card fraud alert for a suspicious $479 charge on his MasterCard. It was his grocery bill. For him, his wife, and I think his son lives at the house. For 3 people, $479 in groceries. We spent pretty much all of last hour explaining why Democrats are so desperate to have this election be a referendum on Donald Trump and not on Joe Biden. Presidential elections featuring an incumbent are always essentially referendums on the incumbent. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago and so forth? This one, however, is unique, and Democrats have been trying desperately. First of all, they wanted Trump to be the nominee. No doubt about that. They did not want to run against Ron DeSantis. They did not want to run against Nikki Haley or anyone else who polled much better against Joe Biden than Trump did. And Trump is leading in pretty much every single swing state, save for Wisconsin, which is pretty much a toss-up. Yes, the polls have been moving in Biden's direction. I think you're seeing some defection from Bobby Kennedy Jr. This is a natural thing. There's sort of a defection from a third-party candidate as Democrats come home to the Democratic candidate, Republicans come home to the Republican candidate. I think you're seeing that reflected in the polls, but the swing state polls, while the national polls are showing movement for Biden, the swing state polls are remaining stubbornly pro-Trump. And this is a big problem for the Democrats propping up Biden, especially since it's become beyond obvious that you can't trot Biden out to speak publicly. There was an announcement that went out on Saturday after Iran, for the first time ever, launched a strike against Israel, a direct strike, instead of simply using proxies, as they always do. Biden was going to address the nation. He never did, because it was apparent his handlers didn't trust that he would be in a position to be able to make a speech. Yesterday, while campaigning in Pennsylvania, he sort of proved that with this rambling, marginally coherent anecdote.
On the kitchen table with a guy who was sort of the David Broder of the Pennsylvania Press, the Scranton Press. You think I'm kidding? It wasn't, but anyway. And he would, they'd come and have breakfast at the table, and a kid could wander around the table where the adults were sitting, but you could never sit at the table.
It took me a little bit, but I had a revelation after watching Biden stumble through that anecdote yesterday. You know who Joe Biden is? He is Grandpa Simpson from The Simpsons. Very famous scene where he's trying to join a militia, and he said, well, we can't crack heads like we used to, but we do have other ways of punishing our enemies.
One trick is to tell them stories that don't go anywhere. Like the time I caught the ferry over to Shelbyville. I needed a new heel for my shoe. So I decided to go to Morganville, which is what they call Shelbyville in those days. So I tied an onion to my belt, which was the style at the time. Now, to take the ferry cost a nickel, and in those days, nickels had pictures of bumblebees on them. Give me 5 B's for a quarter, you'd say. Now, where were we? Oh, yeah. The important thing was that I had an onion on my belt. which was the style at the time.
Tell me those two men are not one and the same. Grandpa Simpson and Joe Biden. To prove it, we mashed them up.
I needed a new heel for my shoe. So I decided to go to Morganville.
On the kitchen table with a guy who was sort of the David Broder of the Pennsylvania Press, the Scranton Press. You think I'm kidding? It wasn't, but anyway.
So I tied an onion to my belt, which was the style at the time.
And he would, they'd come and have breakfast at the table, and a kid could wander around the table where the adults were sitting, but you could never sit at the table.
The important thing was that I had an onion on my belt, which was the style at the time.
Same person. Cartoon Grandpa, real life Grandpa Commander-in-Chief. Last night, or rather 2 nights ago, during the WNBA draft, where Caitlin Clark was taken #1 overall by the Indiana Fever, long after President Biden's bedtime, one of his staffers tweeted from his official X account, "Women in sports continue to push new boundaries and inspire us all. But right now, we're seeing that even if you're the best, women are not paid their fair share. It's time that we give our daughters the same opportunities as our sons and ensure women are paid what they deserve." As the #1 overall pick, Clark will earn $338,056. But that's spread out over 4 years. She'll earn $76,535 in 2024, and it will increase each year. If the team option is picked up, which I'm just going to take a wild guess it will be in 2027, she'll earn $97,582. Do you think that's all Caitlin Clark is going to earn from playing basketball in the United States? The WNBA draft, because of her, set a record. 4.2 million people watched the WNBA draft on, I think it was ESPN. Taking a wild guess that they're the primary broadcaster of WNBA games, which, to paraphrase a great joke from Michael Shea, 4.2 million people watched the WNBA draft, which beat the old record by 4.2 million people. That's what Caitlin Clark has done for women's basketball. That's what Caitlin Clark has done for women's sports. Now, once again, we always talk about this on this program, things that are able to bind us all together, things that are able to, we have a common ability to just watch greatness, right? Everybody watched Caitlin Clark and said, wow, this is a great basketball player. She's on the precipice of just completely revolutionizing the WNBA. And the left simply can't help themselves. They have to politicize her. They have to use her to make some lefty point that isn't even true. Do we know why WNBA players are only paid $75,000? Because total revenue for the WNBA in the year 2023 was $60 million. That's total operating revenue, not profit. In 2022, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, who runs the WNBA, it's an offshoot of the NBA, said the WNBA actually lost money. It was a money loser. The NBA, by contrast, generates $10 billion annually in revenue, primarily from lucrative television contracts all around the globe. $10 billion. The average WNBA salary is $102,751. Caitlin Clark is getting paid less because this is a rookie contract, and those are scaled. The more veteran players will get more money. So the second she signs a new contract, it's not quite what the NBA is because there's so much revenue that's coming in. They have salary caps, and teams can pay different amounts of money. Smaller leagues will often do salaries are set. So in Caitlin Clark's 5th year, year, she'll be making probably league average. I'm taking a wild guess if she does what a lot of people expect her to do and just transform the WNBA. 36 of the 40 Indiana Fever games are on national TV this season. That should tell you something about the interest surrounding this young athlete. But the average salary of an NBA player is $9.6 million. Okay? Revenue for the NBA, $10 billion, compared to $60 million for the WNBA. The NBA generates 167 times the revenue of the WNBA. But NBA players only earn an average of 93 times the salary of WNBA players. Meaning, relative to the revenue that's generated, NBA players, believe it or not, are underpaid, and WNBA players are overpaid. Now, nobody will ever say LeBron James or Steph Curry is underpaid, but what about the guy at the very end of the bench? The Thanasis Antetokounmpos of the world. They're not making $45-50 million a season. But here's where the thing that liberals just don't understand comes in. Free markets create opportunities. Caitlin Clark has an opportunity that no WNBA player since, I would say, Cheryl Swoops back in the 1990s, who generated a lot of buzz, but nothing like what Caitlin Clark is. She had a Cheryl Swoops Nike shoe. Caitlin Clark, I can guarantee you, is going to sign with Nike. She is going to have her own signature shoe. And because there are so many, there's a cute little video of a bunch of little girls who were waiting outside this area of the Empire State Building on the day of the WNBA draft because they apparently got a tip that Caitlin Clark and the rest of the expected top picks were going to be there. And you see the camera pans, and it's all these little, 8 to 10-year-old girls peering through the glass to try to get a glimpse of their hero. They got little signs that say, "We love you, Caitlin." It was adorable. You're telling me every one of those little girls is not going to buy a pink Caitlin Clark signature shoe? Everyone. Every single one of them. It's going to be the best-selling women's shoe, I dare say, of all time. Caitlin Clark is probably going to get, I'm guessing, somewhere in the neighborhood of a $50 to $100 million deal with Nike because of the way she can corner the women's shoe and women's basketball apparel market. She's a marketing goldmine. Now, should Thanasis Antetokounmpo say it's sexist because she's getting endorsement deals that he isn't? Think about, I'm picking on Thanasis. I like Thanasis, but he's just your classic example of for lack of a better word, an NBA scrub. Everybody knows why he's on the Milwaukee Bucks roster. Thanasis is never going to have the opportunities of, say, a Caitlin Clark. It was the same thing for a long time in tennis, where overseas, Roger Federer and, why am I blanking on the other guy? The clay court specialist. Federer and Rafa Nadal. And now it's, oh my gosh. I played tennis. I should remember this. The third guy. In any event, Federer for a long time, he was like Swiss watches he was in and all of these things overseas, but he wasn't really a big pitchman in the United States. The highest earning tennis player, men or women, for a long time was Serena Williams because of the way she could sell tennis gear and other products for company. I think she did car commercials. She did all of this. So this idea that, women are paid less for doing the same job, they're not. They're not generating even a fraction of the revenue that men are. But one player, a select few players maybe, in the WNBA can generate infinitely more than what your average NBA player is making. Average NBA salary, $9.6 million. Do you think that average NBA player is supplementing his income with $20 million worth of endorsements? No. Do you think Caitlin Clark will make more or less than $10 million in endorsements alone this upcoming season? Clearly more. So, yes, the WNBA doesn't generate a lot of revenue, and it often loses money, which means the players who are responsible for bringing in that revenue don't get to share in as much of it. But guess what? When you get away from the collective salary structure of NBA and WNBA contracts, and you get into the free market world of endorsement contracts, then women are often paid well more than the men. Coming up next, we are going to play Guess What's Racist, and we are looking for a contestant. AdventKnows.com talk and text line is 414-799-1130, or you can reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476. And since, let's see, the average NBA salary is about $10 billion, we'll take caller number 10. Caller number 10 will play for a chance to win Lindsey Sterling tickets coming up at the Miller High Life Theater on August 22nd. Caller number 10 plays Guess What's Racist next. Dan O'Donnell here for my amazing friends at Built-Right Furniture. Built-Right's floor sample and clearance sale is on now. Shop the most unique selection of mattresses with over 60 models and 500 mattresses in stock. Choose from the very best brands made in the USA, including Heirloom, Restonic, Therapeutic, Schiffman, and more. Built-Right always saves you money. Don't make a mistake by ordering online or from an employee-free self-service store. Built-Right makes it easy, and with their legitimate sale prices, you'll get an exceptional value and a great night's sleep, as I do on my Built-Right mattress. They do the research for you. Their team will take the time to help fit you. Built-Right specializes in hard-to-find, flippable, two-sided, and heavy-duty mattresses that hold up to 600 pounds. Plus, Built-Right offers free delivery and removal on mattress-only purchases of $799 or more. Shop Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, they're closed to be with family. Built-Right, 54th and Layton in Greenfield.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368. At Wisconsin's own AccuNet Mortgage, our closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 less than the banks or the mortgage guys with the Rocket for exactly the same rate. Find out how much you can save at ACCUNET.com.
Choose from countless luxury flooring options at Flawless Flooring's New Berlin or Delafield Idea Gallery. Flawless Flooring's employee-only installers beautify your everyday going forward right after eliminating carpet stains and stink. Sensory underload, Flawless Flooring, FlawlessFlooringLLC.com.
You live with teeth in need of substantial restoration long enough. Even teeth in need of substantial restoration can be restored in one visit with Ross Dental Ceric Restoration Mill, New Berlin and Waukesha. Smile like you just don't care, because you don't. RossDentalWI.com.
It's happening daily. We're being conned by the institutions we used to trust. The mainstream media is distracting us with meaningless headlines instead of focusing on the harsh realities facing American families. Time is short before something big happens, and that's why so many folks are preparing. They're becoming self-reliant by investing in emergency food storage from My Patriot Supply. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and secure 4-week emergency food kits for each member of your family. Each kit contains tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, averaging over 2,000 calories per day. Save $50 on each 4-week food kit you purchase. Plus, get free shipping on Ready Hour 4-week emergency food kits. You're not ready if it's not Ready Hour foods. At My Patriot Supply, you can also get solar power generators, water filtration units, heirloom seeds, and survival gear. Order by 3 p.m. and your unmarked boxes ship the same day. Shop MyPatriotSupply.com today. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Discounts so deep they dazzle. Where?
BidOnMilwaukee.com.
Home improvement packages, vacations, Morningstar Golf, and more.
BidOnMilwaukee.com.
Take 60% off retail, but hurry. The Bid on Milwaukee blowout sale ends at 7 tonight.
The next generation is here. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
We just came to say hello to one of our favorite recurring segments. It is America's favorite game show. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time now to play
Guess What's Racist?
We have a very special contestant today, a DOD super fan, listening to us while out on her morning walk in the town of Okauchee. Please welcome to Guess What's Racist, Christina. Christina, it is great to have you on the show.
Well, thank you. Nickname Tina. That'll make it easier.
Tina. All right. Unfortunately, Christina, nicknames are racist. So you're not off to a great start here on Guess What's Racist. But are you aware? I'm taking a wild guess. Since you're on your walk, you're listening to the Dan O'Donnell show. You were actually inspired to call in. You know how Guess What's Racist works, right?
Absolutely. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Excellent. Tina, I love it. I love it. I do love it. For those who are unfamiliar, I am going to give Tina a list of 3 things. Every one of those 3 things is going to be related in some way, but none of them are going to be on their face racist. They're going to be totally benign. They're going to be things that when you hear which one is racist, you'll say, wait, what? But one of those things within the last couple of days was declared to be in a media article by a Democrat politician or by a left-wing activist to be horribly, unforgivably racist. Now, Tina, I say you are a special contestant, and this is a special game because we're not just playing for the prize that we play for every week, which is a better understanding of your own role in America's systemic racism. We are actually playing for a pair of tickets to go see Lindsey Sterling at the Miller High Life Theater on August 22nd. All right, so a lot at stake here. Tina.
Okay.
Are you ready to play, ma'am?
I'm ready.
All right. Guess what's racist? Good morning, good afternoon, or good night?
Good morning.
You are correct. Now, I've got to ask you, Tina, since you seem to be a loyal listener, did you happen to hear our segment earlier this week on why good morning is racist?
No, the time you did that, I was at the gym.
Oh, okay. It was indeed a random TikToker who had a, shall we say, unique explanation for why the phrase good morning is racist.
So let's talk about where the word good morning originated from. Good morning. All right, so during slavery times, when the women used to mourn about their child being taken away and sold to a different slave master, or if one of the family members did something that resulted into them getting whipped or killed, most of these things used to happen in the evening time when a child was sold off or somebody was getting whipped for something. The black women used to cry all night behind it. Not even just the women, the black people in general, all the black slaves, male or female. When something happened to a family member or a close friend or anything, they used to cry all night behind it.
All night.
And when the slaves used to cry about what happened all night long, the white slave masters, the oppressors, will wake up in the morning time and they'll tell the slaves, did you have a good morning? Basically, did you have a good cry out? Did you do enough crying last night because of what happened to their family member a day prior? So the white oppressors came up with good morning as a mockery towards black people during the slavery times when they used to cry and mourn and grieve over what happened to somebody when they was whipped or killed or taken off.
Now, Tina, this might shock you, but literally none of that is true. I don't know where she has taken that origin of the phrase good morning, but it actually dates back to about the 1100s. In fact, it dates to Middle and Old English, which then sort of melded into the English we have today. The earliest known written instance instance of something approximating good morning actually dates back to the 1300s. So, 300 years before the first slave was brought to America. Honestly, every time I hear that, I have heard that soundbite like 5 times now. I replayed it for myself in my office before we put it on the air. I was in awe of the stupidity. Like, sometimes people are just so stupid that you just have to, sit back and say, wow, there is normal stupid, and then there is what you just said. All right, Tina, you are off to a great start. 1 for 1. Question 2. Okay. Guess what's racist? This is perfect for you as you're out for your walk. Guess what's racist? Running the Boston Marathon, walking the Boston Marathon, or sitting and watching the Boston Marathon?
Ooh, running.
No, I'm sorry. Sitting and watching it. A black-led running group is suing the organizers of the marathon, as well as the city of Newton, Massachusetts, and the Newton police chief over alleged racial discrimination that took place in a cheer zone at last year's race. The all-women running group Trailblaze Hers alleged that the organizers, the city and police, violated their 14th Amendment right to equal protection under the law. On the day of last year's race, they claim Newton police singled out spectators from Trailblaze Hers and other running crews that serve primarily people of color, racially profiling, targeting, and harassing them. Trailblaze Hers had organized a specific cheer zone in Newton at mile 21 and had invited over other running groups led by people of color to join. Over 100 spectators, mostly people of color, were gathered there. Now, for the past 4 years, they've gathered at mile 21, but this year they were told to back off. Now, at the time, the city of Newton said, there were so many people, they were getting in the way of the runners, so we had to move them. It wasn't racist. There were hundreds of people who were on the course. We had to move them back. But sitting and watching the Boston Marathon is now racist. Final question for you, Tina. Guess what's racist? Income taxes, property taxes, or sales taxes?
Oh, income taxes.
That is incorrect. According to a New York Times op-ed, it is property taxes. The op-ed is titled, "It's Time to End the Quiet Cruelty of Property Taxes." Property taxes, the lifeblood of local governments and school districts, are among the most powerful and stealthy engines of racism and wealth inequality our nation has ever produced. And while the Biden administration has offered many solutions for making the tax code fairer, it is yet to effectively tackle a problem that has resulted not only in the extraordinary overtaxation of Black and Latino homeowners, but also in the worsening of disparities between wealthy and poorer communities. Fixing these problems requires nothing short of a fundamental re-examination of how taxes are distributed. Not bad, Tina. You went 1 for 3, and guess what's racist? Harder than it sounds like on the radio, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, and I'm so ashamed. I'm so racist.
You know what, though? That shame.
What?
As, Tina, if I may be so bold, are you a white person?
Most of the time,
Most of the time, and you feel shame. This is what we aim for, to make white people feel shame at how racist they are over everything. And Tina, because of that, you have won a pair of tickets to go see Lindsey Sterling August 22nd at the Miller High Life Theater. Yes, congratulations to you, and thanks so much for playing.
Thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. I'm going to put you on hold. You're going to talk to my producer to get all your details on how you can get those tickets. Congratulations to you, Tina, and thank you to everyone for listening to America's favorite game show, Guess What's Racist?
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank. And you know, there's more to being a local Wisconsin bank than perfectly pronouncing Oconomowoc or Waukesha. Or is it Waukesha? But rest assured, at Great Midwest Bank, we understand the local community and economy because we're a part of it. At GMB, we provide customized lending products that others just can't offer. Experience a hometown banking difference. Head to greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Attention well pump owners, do you have enough water pressure for your needs? Can you run 2 faucets at once without a problem? If you answered no to either of these questions, talk to an S&K Pump and Plumbing professional about a well pump checkout before you're left high and dry. They feature a full line of well pump equipment. Contact them at 262-784-HELP or SNKPump.com.
When it comes to water, one call does it all. SNK Pump and Plumbing.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Kino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cab overs than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit lynchtruckcenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
Right now, the prices of diamonds are probably the lowest we'll see in our lifetime.
Diamond prices are low, low, low. Here's why.
It was hard to meet new people during COVID.
When a person meets their soulmate, they usually get engaged about 39 months later.
People started dating again only about 36 months ago.
Most of the people who got engaged during COVID
or immediately after COVID
were already in a relationship before the COVID lockdown began.
The Wall Street Journal even published a story about all of this.
Low sales of engagement rings created a worldwide oversupply of diamonds.
But now, engagement ring sales are beginning to pick up again.
By the end of next spring, this temporary oversupply will be gone.
And diamond prices will start climbing like crazy.
If you ever wanted to own a big diamond, this is the year to do it.
Find the Kesslers nearest you at KesslersDiamonds.com.
If you want to own a big diamond, the time is now.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services. I frequently speak with people who are unhappy with their landscaping and they're unsure how to turn things around. Well, here are 4 tasks that will make a remarkable improvement to dull landscaping. Number 1, thick, lush green grass. We need food and water to be healthy. Our lawn care programs and irrigation systems provide your grass with everything it needs to thrive. Number 2, pruning. Regular, technically correct pruning keeps plants strong and vibrant. Number 3, plant bed edging and a fresh layer of bark mulch. There's nothing better than the look of crisp bed edges and fresh mulch. Number 4, landscape lighting. You finally have your landscaping looking its best. A landscape lighting system lets your landscaping come alive after dark. So there you are, 4 landscaping tips that amplify the beauty of your home. Please call Seasonal Services at 262-392-3444 or look for us online at seasonalservices.com.
Attend Biz Expo May 22nd at Brookfield Conference Center. Learn how to build a legendary brand by creating raving fans from keynote speaker and author Scott Wozniak. Attend strategy seminars on company culture, business growth, AI and cybersecurity, leadership, exit planning, tax savings for business, and more. Network and connect with your peers and the region's leading product and service providers. Biz Expo is Wednesday, May 22nd. Register to attend at biztimes.com/bizexpo.
The next time you're due for service, visit richlands.com to schedule an appointment at any of our 5 conveniently located facilities.
All AAA approved and all staffed by ASE certified technicians ready to serve you.
Richlands.
Biz Expo is May 22nd at Brookfield Conference Center. Learn from the experts at the strategy seminars and keynote on building a legendary brand. Connect with business leaders and customers at Biz Expo May 22nd. Register at biztimes.com/bizexpo.
Bob Dolan here for injury attorneys Pasternak and Zergabel, recognized as 2 of Wisconsin's best injury attorneys. Pasternak and Zergabel's extraordinary work and results are something I and other clients have known for years. Whether you're the victim of a car accident like I was or the victim of a dangerous product like asbestos, you need to contact Pasternak and Zergabel. See their website at injurywisconsin.com, injurywisconsin.com, for award-winning personal injury attorneys Pasternak and Zergabel.
Tune in every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. as Allenbecker Investment Group highlights local people and organizations who are using their time and their talents to give back to make a difference in our community. Milwaukee's philanthropic community. Visit ellenbecker.com to learn more.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Listener pointed out something about the good morning. The woman who said good morning was racist because slave masters would say it to mock slaves who had a child stolen from them or someone whipped to death the previous night. They say, "Did you have a good morning?" That's a completely different spelling of the word, M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G. And our texter asked, do you think this woman has any idea that morning, M-O-U, and morning, M-O-R, are completely different words with completely different meanings? And my answer was simply, no, I don't think she knows that at all. Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. We are following some breaking news. Yuri Berliner, who is the NPR editor who was suspended for penning an essay for the Free Press in which he wrote about all of the problems with left-wing institutional bias at a place that he had worked for 25 years. And he actually outlined how said bias sort of infiltrated the newsroom. He is now resigned. He said he can no longer work in a place. In fact, I've got his resignation letter right here. I am resigning from NPR, a great American institution where I have worked for, you know what? I don't want to make fun of Yuri because he's doing great things, but I feel like I've got to read this in the NPR voice, don't I? No, because it's Yuri. All right, it's a more important point. Screw you, Dave. I'm doing the voice. I am resigning from NPR. A great American. Okay, I'm not actually going to do the voice. I am resigning from NPR, a great American institution where I have worked for 25 years. I don't support calls to defund NPR. I respect the integrity of my colleagues and wish for NPR to thrive and do important journalism. But I cannot work in a newsroom where I am disparaged by a new CEO whose divisive views confirm the very problems at NPR I cite in my Free Press essay. In fact, a video just discovered by Chris Rufo from a couple of years ago by that new CEO in a Zoom call with a podcast host. She says the biggest problem that we face as left-wing activists is the First Amendment. Oh, do we have this? All right, here we go.
The number one challenge here that we see is, of course, the First Amendment in the United States is a fairly robust protection of rights. And that is a protection of rights both for platforms, which I actually think is very important, that platforms have those rights to be able to regulate what kind of content they want on their sites. But it also means that it is a little bit tricky to really address some of the real challenges of where does bad information come from and sort of the influence peddlers who have made a real market economy around it.
So what she's saying is it makes it way too challenging to throw people off of social media whose views I disagree with, because of the First Amendment, which protects the speech of all Americans. This woman is now running the NPR newsroom, as well as all of NPR's various programs. She's the new CEO, just named a couple of months ago. I'm Yuri Berliner. There is no doubt I'm resigning, and I'm immediately going to, I don't even know where he would go. He was an editor, and I'll be totally honest with you, a whole lot of commercial radio stations that aren't subsidized with millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in taxpayer money, oftentimes don't have the cash, they don't have the revenue to hire editors. But what does it say about this? I mean, my goodness, how many times do I complain about iHeartMedia being cheap with our equipment? Oh my gosh, the printer, the computer, the microphones, the light. Yeah, there is a light. We should get the Dano cam up here. There is a light that is dangling precariously. It's sort of like a sword of Damocles above all of our heads. And I'm like, yeah, they're spending money to hang out with Taylor Swift at the iHeart Awards, and they give Travis Kelce the podcast of the year solely on the outside chance that Taylor Swift would come and be at their podcast awards with Travis Kelce. This is what our company is spending money on, not, actually broadcasting. I know, though, I can say that, and I can give valid critiques of our company, and honestly, sometimes it's the only way you get anything fixed around here. I learned my lesson from Belling. Now, Dave, what's going on with this chair? My chair's broken. No. My point is that we exist in a company which is known in radio circles as the evil empire, that's actually anything but. They allow for diverse voices. They allow for substantive critiques. Now, if I just went off and did an entire show about, just doing personal attacks on Bob Pittman, the CEO, he might be a little upset by that, but substantive critiques, I always know I can go to my boss, Jerry Bott, the program director here. I know I can go to our general manager, our operations manager, Jeff Brett, whoever it is, and I can say, hey, this is kind of an issue. Can we get this fixed? And in fact, we have heard some of the critiques about our own newscasts on our flagship station, WISN, and we are in the process of crafting some new guidelines for news product. And this is the sort of thing that happens when you allow for substantive criticism. Like, hey, if one of our employees were to say, you know what? The Dan O'Donnell show just is too conservatively biased. We'd actually chuckle and say, yeah, that's kind of the point. But if there is a substantive critique, and folks, I am on our texts, I am on our emails constantly. Now, if you open with, Dan, you suck, I'm probably not going to take your critique too seriously. But if you say, hey, like the listener, he said, hey, Dan, you missed this when you were talking about this. I thought you were going to do this. The woman doesn't know the difference between M-O-U-R-N and M-O-R-N in the word morning. I thought you were going to talk about that. I said, wow, that's actually a really good suggestion. I'm going to talk about that. Constructive criticism. When you don't allow that, and when you don't allow any sort of dissent. Now, I'm taking a wild guess. If Yuri Berliner was complaining about the studio equipment or something like that, he'd be listened to. But when you're complaining about what actually NPR's core mission has become to disseminate liberally biased information, and it's not even bias. It is a liberal narrative completely untethered to reality. That simply cannot be tolerated. Dan O'Donnell coming back to wrap things up in just 1 second. It's conservative thought, not just talk.
Are you sick of living with outdated, worn-out countertops but are unsure of who to trust with the job? This is Eric from Granite Direct saying we're here to help. From humble beginnings more than 15 years ago, Granite Direct has built a reputation as the go-to place for natural stone and quartz countertops. From the moment you walk in the door, you'll start to experience the Granite Direct difference. Our knowledgeable, no-pressure sales team will guide you through the countless options and answer all your questions along the way. And you'll leave confident that you've made the right choice. Then peering out into our shop, you'll not only notice the state-of-the-art machinery, but expert craftsmen inspecting and putting on the finishing touches, making sure every job is just right. Then the day arrives. You look out your window to see a Granite Direct truck in your driveway. That's when one of our experienced install crews, treating your house like their own, expertly install your new tops, turning your vision into reality. Look, we're not super fancy, but we love what we do, and we're really good at it. If you're ready to make a change, we're ready to help. Where technology meets craftsmanship, we're Granite Direct.
While most other furniture finishers restore wood furniture using high-pressure water to remove old lacquer and varnish, we only use a chemical solvent. Because when you use water, it will eventually raise the grain, loosen glue joints, and lift veneer. So if you have something really special that you'd like to restore, call us. For the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. If you want your restored antique piece to remain primitive, no problem. Maybe you want to restore it to as good as new condition. We can do that. The way we work is based solely on what your needs are. And that seems to make the process of restoring your unique piece almost always a positive one. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com.
With all the positive Google reviews continuing to pour in for Richland's Tire and Service Centers, we want you to know we appreciate you.
You were due for service. We delivered, and then you went the extra mile and wrote a few kind words about the service you experienced.
Yeah, thank you so much. Michael, Glenn, Jeff, Lisa, Carol, Jason, John,
Wait,
Michelle,
hang on a
Ryan.
second, Dad. As fun as it may be to name every single person who's ever left us a Google review, there just isn't enough time. We get 60 seconds, and I'd say we've got about 28 left.
Ah, good point, Courtney.
Listen, we appreciate every last one of you for helping us maintain a nearly 5-star Google rating. And we're going to keep on shooting for the stars, especially when it comes to providing top-notch auto repair service.
Yep, and remember, be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you've got good tread on your tires. Peter, Bruce, Samantha, Kimberly, Nick, Heather,
Oh,
Marissa,
Dad.
George, Jeremy, Diane, Brad, Paul.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 877-64-BIBLE. That's 877-64-BIBLE. 877-64-BIBLE.
You're back at the gym. Your new gym outfit? On point. Your new sneakers? Baller. You've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Access Checking. It's maintenance fee free with no minimum balance requirements. So when you take your first yoga class in 10 months, your body might surprise you, but your checking account won't. You've got this with Access Checking from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Jay Weber here. If you're someone who's experiencing shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain and a total joint replacement might be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Find them at orthowisconsin.com. At Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, their physicians are committed to providing the highest quality of joint care and specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center in Pewaukee. You can find them at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Coming up on the Mark Belling Late Afternoon Show on WISN this afternoon, we will dive into the Journal-Sentinel's love affair with marijuana ahead of 420. They couldn't even wait until 419 to publish this story, basically saying, well, everybody wants legalized marijuana. Why don't we have legalized marijuana? Also, the Wisconsin Supreme Court is asking for responses to Planned Parenthood's lawsuit. I was planning on getting to both those stories today. I sort of did a little impromptu rant. Sometimes I'll do that when I sort of have some thoughts in my head, and I had a lot on Trump's trials. And I was sort of set off by the fact that the only criminal trial in New York that isn't off Fridays is Donald Trump's. They're going Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday. Why is that? Well, rather obviously, to mess with Trump's ability to get out to rallies and to get out to fundraisers. They're doing whatever they can to keep him in New York, to keep him away from the states he needs to be visiting. And more importantly, to be able to keep him from raising money, when the only way he can address voters is in brief little statements before and after his hearing days. And even then, what's the judge trying to do? Quash that. He won't be able to speak on this and call it an injustice, which it rather obviously is, because he's in violation of a gag order. Give me a break. Sequester the jury and don't infringe on. This is why, folks, this is why you don't charge presidents or former presidents. This is why it has never been done before in the history of our country, because it raises so many legal issues and constitutional issues that I don't think the left has fully contemplated, or maybe they have and decided that they really are, according to Stephen A. Smith, that scared of their inability to beat Trump on the merits of this election and the issues. And they need to ensure that the American people see him not as a president who is far more successful than Joe Biden, a president who is far more with it than Joe Biden, but as a criminal defendant. And to get that narrative that for the low information voter who doesn't know what a sham all of these cases are, that Donald Trump committed crimes and we can't possibly vote for him for president because he is a criminal. He's not a politician. He's a criminal. So we will have a jam-packed Mark Belling late afternoon show coming up 3 o'clock at right here, WISN. I'll be back then.